Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. I feel like we're here every week.
It's weird, eh? It's like this
Every
weird
week.
deja vu thing happening.
It is every week, and yet here we are again, doing what we love.
Doing some PP1 podcasting.
We are doing the PP1 Podcast. And you know what? It's even got itself a name. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. I'm Ryan. My good friend Ted, to my screen right, is also here. He's at home today, which is, I think, probably better logistically for him. So that's...
It's a little less driving that way, yeah.
It checks out. I'm in my basement, so that was all of 60 steps from my upstairs. So that's great. We're on the Dean Blundell Network. And if you're listening to this after we record, maybe you're on your way to work. Maybe you're crushing out a spin class. Heck, maybe you're taking the dog for a run and you just saw another dog poop on like the sidewalk. And you're like, why aren't you cleaning that up? And then he walks away and you're like, why aren't you cleaning that up? And you're like, oh, Ryan just told a hilarious joke, and you forget all about it. So it's great.
Have you had to do that? Have you had to call somebody up about like leaving their giant dog turd on the road?
My own yard. My own
yard. While you were in it?
While I'm like in the driveway. Like it just usually and to be fair, everybody everyone on my street has like a rental suite in their basement. So the only people that are doing this that we've basically found out are the renters, because all the owners within the vicinity of, 10 houses, circular, diameter, earshot, whatever you want to say.
Are you just saying that only renters leave dog poop?
No, the ones on our street.
Because I've rented for a long time. I don't leave dog poop.
But you're not on my street. So the ones on our
street. But if I did,
I
would leave dog poop on your yard.
I feel like you've got it. No, I'm just kidding. You're a pretty respectable guy. No, it's all because like almost
sounds like a renter bash to me. That's right. I think
it is a harsh renter bash. It's like, wow, that sounds like you're a real a-hole.
We had that in our old complex. Like we were one of 2 renters in like, I don't know, it's like 20 units or something like that. And it took us like 6 years because we were just like, we were the renters. Like people wanted nothing to do with it. We were just the trash, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, just on our street. So yeah, I don't know, just have a little bit of respect. We all get it. It's fun to have a dog, but pick up after them. It's no big deal.
Yeah, leaving dog shit in somebody else's yard. That's just leaving dog crap out anyways. When you're walking, just pick up after your dog.
Or like pissing on someone's lawn. Like not you personally. I mean, if you do that, hey, good luck with that. Your animal. Maybe you got like a goat or something. I've seen it. I actually have seen it. It's kind of fun.
Not my goat.
Not your goat. Stop! Don't kick my goat. So yeah, we're on. We're a PP1 Podcast. We're on the Blundell Network, Dean Blundell Network. We quite enjoy it here. We're at home. This is where we flourish, if you will. You can follow us on Facebook Live. You can follow us on YouTube. I've got the chat open. Come on in. Have a chat. We're here for you.
Can we say that the chat is sponsored by our sponsors, Move Health and Wellness?
You know what? Yeah, because I don't know if we're gonna get to dudes and guys. So it could happen. It could. But you know what? You're right, Ted. The chat tonight is sponsored by Move Health and Wellness. I'm going next week. I can't wait. And I'm going next week, and I also can't wait because I had to change my appointment from this morning because I thought I had a day off to next week when I do have a day off. And it didn't work out so well for me because we started playing baseball on the weekend. Our ops practice, great times, 2.5 hours of clearly needed practice.
How are you feeling?
So then we played baseball on Monday, and I wasn't feeling great from Saturday, and I'm continuing to not feel great. Also today, which is Wednesday.
So it's a good time to have Move Health and Wellness as a sponsor.
I say this every week. I legitimately need to be put back together. It kind of hurts to breathe a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I tried.
What did you do? Did you just strain your back or something?
So remember, there was that play I was pitching, and I ran to like the third baseline, and I did like the cross body throw, like Matrix style. Don't do that if you haven't stretched, folks. Especially if you're in the upper 30s, and I know that sounds lame, but you can hyper stretch things if you don't stretch them.
Unless you're Ryan and you throw in the upper 30s.
Here's the thing: I made the out, regardless of it being practice.
It was something. You made the out. You did.
I mean, it doesn't count for anything, but I made the out. So
you made the out.
So yeah, I'm hurting a little bit. I also in our acro game, I started feeling a little bit of a tight stretch there on my upper hammy, and that was a massive heat pack for the last 2 days. So
this is a Canucks podcast. We're gonna get to talking about Canucks. They're on a heater, still collecting points, still not mathematically eliminated yet. So we're gonna get into that. But I did want to point out that I heard a funny story at baseball.
What?
I heard a funny story at baseball.
Oh, I'm listening.
About your baseball attire.
Go on.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Ryan wears this bright safety yellow, like, I don't know, what do you call this? Like an athletic, looks like a runner's jacket or something, but it's like really tight. It's like this thermal thing. Yeah. And
I bought it for ball.
I mean, it is bright yellow, and usually has yellow socks. Up to bat has a bright yellow, same colored bat.
That worked out well this week. I didn't plan for that to happen.
And it's we're using new balls because it's the start of the year. So your whole outfit is essentially the same color as the ball.
And not essentially, some would say it was the same color as the ball.
Yeah, it's the same color as the ball. So I had heard that an umpire actually asked you to get rid of that shirt because they couldn't read balls and strikes because they were losing it in your shirt. Which is like just ridiculous.
It's like a green screen. True. That is a true story. Now there's a little bit of an addition to that. So I'm not allowed to wear that for playoffs because of that exact reason that it actually. And I just, like, you think about it.
These are like carded umps, like official blues that are telling you this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he goes, just so you know, if this was a playoff game, you'd have to take that off. And I said, that's fair, and I respect this. As a Barry is his name, I think.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it was Barry. Yeah,
the guy's like, I've grown up watching this guy umpire like my dad, so I much respect to Barry. So, yeah, that's a true story. It's you know what? I look good. I'm not going to apologize to anybody.
Yeah, and it is really yellow.
We'll get a picture for next week. We'll make sure people see how bright this is. And yes, I bought it for all the reasons that, I mean, anybody that knows me, I'm a bright colors kind of guy. So it is what it is. You're right. We will talk about Canucks, and we should probably get into a few things. I did talk about my sports story. Can I do one more little quick story? And I promise.
Let's hit some Canucks stuff and then hit it.
Okay, fine.
I think we got to break it up anyways.
Fine, that's fair. Okay, so anybody that's been following the Canucks, likely anybody watching or listening to this show because it's Canucks based, you're aware that the Canucks are in a bit of a playoff race right now. Some would say. I said that they were officially not going to make it. Was it 2 weeks ago? I basically had said, towels out. I have to make a call on this, and they're out. I still believe this as far as a comment goes, but the way they're playing and the way that the standings are going, even as of tonight, I don't know how this is possible, but the Vancouver Canucks are still very much in a playoff spot. Vegas is currently losing to Washington in the second period, 2-1. Dallas lost to Edmonton tonight, 5-2. In case you're aware, those are teams that are ahead of the Canucks or tied. And the Canucks did pull out a point last night against Ottawa. So they technically are unbeaten in regulation in 7 games, but even though they lost. What is with this? Like, is this Canucks team legitimately, like, is this now the team? And I know it's very late to be asking this again. Is this now the team that we should expect to see even to start next season, but then obviously an improvement of that? Like, is this now what we should have expected had there not been an absolute blip in the middle of the year? Or did it need that change? Did it need like that spark to?
It needed a change for sure. The blip wasn't in the middle of the year. The blip was,
Well, you know what I mean.
the
We don't have
blip
to be technical.
was the start of the year, right? I mean,
Hey, December is
I
not the start.
fair. I feel like it's a pretty accurate representation of what this team is. But they're probably more of that like a few games above 500 version of themselves, not this version that was in the Boudreaux first coming on heater, and then this heater that they're on currently, because that's just not sustainable.
No,
but they've been
a drug.
They've been a decent team since Boudreaux took over, and I think a decent team is what you're a fringe playoff team if you're a decent team. The problem is that they've had to go on streaks where they were far better than decent, but that start of the year streak was just so bad that overcoming that means that you have to do like win out the rest of the year with 5 or 6 games remaining, and you still might not make it. You still need some help, right? And we're getting help right now. It sounds like that from Dallas and Vegas.
Like you're saying, like we're saying they have to win out. And I mean, the way they've been playing, it doesn't feel like the Canucks that we know, like, well, they got to win out.
And they are the Canucks that we know, though. Like, for example, you have one mulligan, and you have Minnesota coming up next game. Big, heavy team, like a legit good team. Like it could be a cup contender team.
And they play them hard.
But you have one mulligan and a pretty easy schedule, but you blow your mulligan against Ottawa. We've talked about this so many times, right? Like win one versus, lose one versus Ottawa, win one versus Minnesota. It's a net zero. You're supposed to be putting those games versus Ottawa away because you might not win the ones versus Minnesota. And that's okay. And we might see them win. And I hope they do win, like obviously. But in terms of your second part of the question is this what we can expect heading into next year? I think we absolutely should expect at least the bare minimum, that this is going to be a quality team heading into next year, because they've shown that they can outscore a lot of their shortcomings, which is on the defensive side of the puck, and that they have the goaltending that will keep them in the games for when they're not scoring. So I don't want to see any more of this. Do you remember when it was bubble hockey, right? That bubble hockey team finishes the season out, and then head office makes a bunch of change, and then everybody in their dog is okay with the fact that we're supposed to be expecting a downtick. Like, why on earth would we be expecting a downtick with a young team that's like a young roster? That's the important part of this roster. And why on earth would we be heading into the next season thinking that a downtick is acceptable? So at the very minimum, this should be a playoff caliber team, or at least competing for a playoff spot right from the jump next season. They've had some experience. They've been playing like it for the majority of the season. They need to be there right at the start, or else it's just not going to make any sense. And we'll be going through the same song and dance next year, which we can't have.
So you remember when Bruce was talking about when he first got here, how they were going to play, like, was it every 7 games or something like that, or every 7 days, or I can't remember what he had. It almost looks like they have been playing that, like that, to that mentality, like, best of 7, best of 7, best of 7.
Like they were just playing best of 7 series since Bruce took over. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe that was the comment that he had made. And I mean, if you look at it overall, they've probably lost a couple series.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I mean, they've been in a lot of games. They've been in some games that they shouldn't have been. They've also blown some games that they should have won. I guess that's typical Canucks hockey.
Yeah,
but they've also got contributions from guys like Podkolzin, who's just having a phenomenal finish to his year. Alex Chason has just been everything that they wanted. He's like that one signing that we would have liked to have been Jason Dickinson, or have to been like, all the guys at the beginning of the year were
all these guys that you shouldn't be relying on, but are producing.
So he was kind of the afterthought, and he ends up being one of the best producers on the team, not necessarily statistically, but producing at a bunch of different levels. So I don't know, I kind of look at this team and I think that, I mean, are they a playoff team? Well, they are, in the general sense that they've been playing playoff hockey since December, when they basically were absolutely buried. Their PK was dead last. The power play was pretty damn close as well. Now I think, did I see yesterday on like the Sportsnet stats that the Canucks are like the best team at 5-on-5 this year?
Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. That's a goaltending factor primarily, but yeah, it's a pretty outstanding stat.
I put in the rundown here. Jared Chan posted this last night. Did you see this? The scenarios, I guess, because we're in scenario mode. Should I share this?
Yeah, the scenario is great. We should talk about. I want to talk more about Podkolzin too.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get back to that too.
Yeah, let me just share this quickly here. I'm going to share my screen. You can see the screen. So let's go. Can we see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Canucks, they're not going to go 5-0-0. So LA Kings can go max 2-1-1. Dallas obviously has already lost one, so that's helping things out. Vegas is again these. So it just basically goes each scenario. If the Canucks go 5-0-0, 4-0-1, so now you're starting to see all these scenarios, right? So some of these are doable. I mean,
they're all doable. It's a weird ass league for sure.
So here's if Canucks go 2-2-1, LA can go 0-4, Dallas can go 0-6, Vegas can go max of 2-3. If any of these are worse, I'm going to stop sharing here. If any of these are worse, then the Canucks are obviously out. I think they're better than what that looks like. I think a lot of those scenarios are all possible. The way they've been playing, I mean, losing Bo really sucks. Mm-hmm. But again, and I'll let you get back into Podkolzin, he's one of those guys where I put I think I tweeted out last night, we got him for 10th and the 10th pick, hey? Like he's I mean, he's clearly not hit a ceiling yet, but it seems like he's leaving the floor pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So go on, sing his praises.
I remember when you asked me at the start of the year, you're like, what's a reasonable point projection for Vasily Podkolzin? And I said his game and how heavy he plays and how he forechecks and just about it reminds me a lot of Horvat and how his rookie season played out. And I think it's reasonable to expect 25 some odd points from him. And now where we are,
25 points,
a couple of games down the road, there's still 5 games left, and he's at Bo Horvat status, right? I mean, he got there a little bit of a different way.
Not a fourth liner.
Yeah, was though but that's the same idea, right? So 14 goals, 11 assists. Bo, I think if I look back at it, he had a few more assists than goals in this format, but
Bo had to
13 and 12.
Bo had to outperform his position to do anything. Like he had to get out of the doghouse.
He had defensive responsibilities, right? So it was like, boom, you're a fourth line center, and then slowly some things happen, and now we realize that you're actually not a guy that needs a safety blanket like Sutter. You're actually better than Sutter, and he sort of bumped his way up the lineup, and then it's been almost an identical progression with Podkolzin.
Yeah,
where he sort of started out on the low man, and you see Pods play, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes a game, whatever. And that's slowly increased. And if injuries have happened, it hasn't been the guys that they've called up from the minors. They did at first, right?
Yeah.
So they can still keep him sheltered. But then as confidence grows, as he becomes a better player, he's getting higher minutes. He's getting bigger minutes. He's getting minutes with better players. And I think that we've really just seen his game explode in these last, I would say 3 weeks. We've been seeing good hockey out of Podkolzin now. And it almost was all a culmination of last night's game. I could not take my eyes off of Podkolzin. He was so heavy on the puck. He was a devastating forechecker, right? This guy is just a nasty ass piece of business without the puck. And he's starting to do stuff with the puck too, right? So, I mean, that's a scary forward, right? I mean, these are a lot of scouts talked about how good he was during this draft year and how, the Russian factor probably pressed him down to the Canucks. But I think Vancouver is just so lucky to have him and the way that he's playing right now. And I'll go out on a limb and I'll say that Podkolzin is a more important and higher producing player by the end of his rookie contract than Bo Horvat.
I think that's fair. I would want to disagree with you, but
that's no slouch on Bo. I
think based on need and what they have, they're giving him and a different. He's in a different position too. I think Bo was relied on more to basically take the reins and basically be asked to do more. Where I think is now that they're seeing Podkolzin, he is being given an opportunity that Bo probably didn't have if you were to give them that same time model and different coach as well. This coach sees that there is value and that it can pay off right away, and we're seeing it on the ice. We're seeing him, you're seeing him take not a double minor, but like he's getting in the rough areas. He's involved. He's not just a bystander, right? He's not a passenger. Like he's a driving play.
He really is, yeah.
And he's in on plays. He's in on the power play. Like things are absolutely just ripping. And I mean, what's not to like? He's been so much fun to watch. I mean, I almost wish that Connor Garland was, Russian and the 10th overall draft. Like, I mean, Connor Garland's been a lot of fun in the last little bit. We do have a guest who would love to talk some Canucks hockey with us. Sean, aka Glassy. He's on the Bonzi show. You may have seen that. We got to get Bonzi on here too. That guy is just he's an absolute piece. I love him. But let's bring him in. Sean,
hey guys.
Glassy, how you doing?
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Congratulations, Best in Kelowna. Right on.
Well, we're in
the running, yeah.
That's
so
good.
We need Donald Trump's guys to pull some strings for us so we can get the sticker on our door.
We can make that happen. Thanks for having me, guys. Been a long time coming, and it's nice to actually finally. What do they call that? And I love the moniker. A long-time listener, first-time caller. Is that
there you go? Yeah. That exactly. So now, for all the people that don't know, and I want to clarify, now you're out. Are you out in the WAC? Is that correct?
I'm in Chilliwack. Yeah, that's why I'm actually sporting Chilliwack Chiefs jersey. They lost last night. Did West Kelowna win?
I think so. Yeah.
Last night, so they got the sweep too, right?
I believe so. Yeah, West Kelowna's been on a bit of a
right out front my window, literally a stone's throw away, is the West Kelowna Arena where the Warriors play.
Nice.
So that's how close that was. So good hockey though, great hockey.
Big BC Junior Hockey League fan, and shout out to all of them. I know a couple of guys who are watching tonight, Tom Messino and all them, and
love
lost
the jersey.
4. Yeah, I know, right?
You know what? I'm
a sharp jersey.
Going back in the old Kelowna Spartans, Chilliwack, like Chiefs days. Oh baby,
Did you watch like Bruins stuff too back when they were playing there?
The New West Bruins?
No,
I don't have any
Bruins,
here.
Right? Was it like WHL? Yeah.
Oh God, no. It's kind of like a sore topic around here because we built Prospera Center, and they said, it was a big idea with Ted. What was his name? The ownership group before they moved it to Victoria. Brian Burke was part of that whole thing.
Okay, yeah,
and. They literally came into Prospera Center here in Chilliwack one day and just pulled everything out. They were moving to Victoria the next day. So.
Crazy.
That seems fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually didn't know that.
So what you're saying is
you know what the part that sucks though is because I've been a big fan of the Chilliwack Chiefs for a very long time. They've been in the existence since the 80s or 89 when they were the New Westminster Bruins, and they moved out to Chilliwack with head coach Harvey Smeal. They came out here and it became the Barn on Corbould, which was like your old rink in Kelowna. What was it called?
Memorial
Arena. Yeah. So it would seat 2,100 fans.
But it was the best, West, maybe.
Yeah, it was the best Saturday night that you could have ever imagined. There was even more fights in the stands in Chilliwack than there were on the ice, and that was back in the Zubra. We had Sean Horkoff come through Chilliwack. We've had Mike Menard, like a ton, slew, Jeff Tambellini.
Great back check.
Everything's come through wearing a Chiefs jersey, right? So the Chilliwack Bruins come in. We're going to get a Western Hockey League team, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. We had Mike Santorelli. We had Oscar Moeller.
Oh, he was so good, too.
He was so good, yeah. They pulled out right out of Chilliwack after we built this massive arena that was perfectly fit for our junior A team, but now we got to fill it for a junior A team in a 2,100 seat arena where the Chilliwack Coliseum was 1,100, and you're all bleeding noses because you're all just
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Not the best way to do things, that's for sure.
it wasn't the best thing, and they pulled that team out of here so fast. Who dropped in? The Chiefs moved to Langley for a couple of years. That's where the
That's right.
Rivermen became, and
Yep.
then they
Yep.
came back to Chilliwack, and the Rivermen stayed there. And Chiefs hockey all the way, man.
It's
I mean,
the
West
loyalist. I think junior hockey works that way, right? If
That's right.
basically if you're loyal and you get screwed over, like it seems to get paid back at some point. So
Well, I love the BCHL because they're still playing for something, right? Like
Mhm.
if you're going to play hockey, go get the scholarship, go do the
Mhm.
fundamentals, go do everything. If you jump into the Western Hockey League, you're only going to become two things: A, a pro where you make it, or B, you're just playing beer league hockey.
Golf pro.
Yeah, right.
Which ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. You know what?
Big fan.
We brought you here to talk a little bit of Canucks puck. We were just kind of chatting about Bud Colson. Now you're out there. You're a little bit more involved. You've got Sportsnet 650 that you could probably pull from Chilliwack. I'm sure you get Sakaris and Price down there a little bit more. I got to make more of a dedicated effort.
Johnny and Dolly, all the way.
Johnny and Dolly. So now you're looking. You see a game like last night. You see where the Canucks, they had it and they gave it away. Yeah, they got a point, but it was a point, kind of a point too late. What are you seeing down there? Like, what's your vibe of what's happening in the Lower Mainland? Because I mean, this is, I guess typical Canucks, but it's kind of got a new wrinkle to it.
Well, I think you're not wrong in the fact that who are you going to put in the shootout? Hughes, Podkolzin. What's Dries doing out there?
Well, he was acing it up though in the AHL, was he not?
Yeah, but I know like first shift in OT.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily translate.
It was a shock. It was a shock.
It was
to Gretzky, though. I think you need to realize that it wasn't exactly like Gretzky.
You're not putting Hughes in the shootout. Like, come on, man. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Podkolzin.
There it is.
Yeah,
Podkolzin even the same thing too. Right? Like, why wouldn't you put one of them out? Give them a chance. Give them an opportunity. You have a guy that's probably a year and a bit in Abbotsford. Well, Utica before that, but not really ready to prove his prime. Whereas you have a person in Podkolzin who's almost there,
who showed you in the game that he's got the chops to play. I mean, you had him out there to close
100%.
in the last minute of the game, right?
Yeah, 100%. The corners, he's ready to dig deep, he's ready to pinch low, but also ready to get himself back too, right? And that's like, you have to have that whole game to be able to understand it. And he gets that. Where I mean, if you watch the AHL to the NHL, it's huge. But if you watch a bigger thing, I guess, is the AHL to the WHL, it is like, holy crap, this is like hamster speed.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a noticeable difference. So yeah, I mean, the shootout, I don't want to get too far into that because I think people blow that way out of whack. And the point is they shouldn't have even been that far. I mean, overtime was pretty crazy. The last 10 minutes of the third was pretty crazy. Heck, the last 10 minutes of the second was pretty crazy.
It was a wild game. It was a really good game. It was a fun game to watch.
Fire wagon hockey, I think the kids say.
It was. And the Larscheid section that they had, which was after Tom Larscheid, which was beautiful.
That was
because it a nice welcome back to the arena after COVID, and all the BS that we've had to endure for the last 2 years, right? But going back with Podkolzin, absolutely, he is a stud that's going to be a stud for a couple years. Just wait is all I'm saying. And with Boudreau, if they can extend him, and they have to by now, like if they get into the playoffs, he's got to be in the running for a president. Like.
Yeah,
or for Jack Adams.
Sorry. For Jack Adams, yeah. And we've had this conversation. I'm sure you've kind of heard us speak about this. So based on the book of work that he's put in, and I think regardless, does it matter if they make the playoffs or not? They're going to have a pretty strong look at him after the season ends anyway. But I mean, do they stick? Like, is there a good enough feeling there? Is there enough results after 3/4 of a season where they can say, yeah, you know what, let's see what we can do with Bruce. Maybe it's only like a 2-year deal and just see if they can ride out something in the short term. Because I mean, there's going to be a lot of contracts that are going to be in that 2-year term as well. Like the longer you go, I guess the further you're committed to this whole group, and then he becomes part of a core if you start doing like 3 and 4 years. But I mean, a 2-year deal, I don't think is terrible.
Are you talking on Boudreaux or are you talking
For Boudreaux, yeah.
Yeah. How long are we still paying Travis Green for? A year? Maybe 2?
I think at least one more year, yeah.
One more
that's,
year.
That's the old MO, right? Re-sign the guy and then fire him.
100%. Yeah. I think you give Boudreaux a 3-year contract, and I think that's fair enough because we do have a lot of up-and-comers. That's the beauty of having Abbotsford so close. You can ship people back and forth. Spencer Martin was called up yesterday at lunch hour.
He's going to be on the
because
road trip too.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure why he was called up because that all happened before the hand injury. But I mean, it was hindsight.
Maybe it was the Luongo bathroom break. We don't know about that. Like anything's possible. But
they're literally trying to win deterred.
It's nice where they don't have to fly across the continent, and I think a lot of the players are benefiting as such. You keep a Boudreaux in the system, he keeps players happy, he keeps the system running, and he knows what to make of the system because he's been a Stanley Cup winning coach.
Yeah.
Right? I thought Beagle, when he came here, I thought he was the best fucking thing since sliced bread. Excuse my language. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear in here. Sorry.
You're all good.
Well, when you use Jay Beagle and that, then we might give you.
I like the reference though when they brought him in because he's a leader. He knows what it takes to win, and that's what the Canucks need. The Canucks need identity. The Canucks need structure. That's something Boudreaux can provide. And the third thing that they need is goaltending, because that's something that we've had, but we haven't had because it's been so mismanaged in the last 3 years. But you have to re-sign Boudreaux to at least 2-3 years is where I'm at. And
so Sean's team Boudreaux. Fair enough. Okay.
I am team Boudreaux. Like, what are you going to bring in? What are you going to bring in, Maurice? Where he already quit on his team? Come on.
Well,
I'm not a Boudreaux guy.
No, I said you weren't sure.
Oh, you weren't sure about what?
You just said that it didn't really matter either way, that you could see that he's a good coach, but at the same time they didn't have to commit either.
No, not right now. Like when they're saying all this song and dance about like, oh, I mean, it's another year. Like we have the ability to pick up the option next year, blah, blah, blah. Like they don't have to say anything right now because they're in the middle of the season. I mean, I didn't think that Vancouver had to come out and say anything. And I don't think that Boudreaux did either. Right. So I think you just let things play out the way they're playing out. It's another thing you don't have to think about as a distraction. It's not a conversation that you need to have with anybody. There's no pressure, no pressers of people asking questions. It doesn't become a thing because it's not a thing until it's a thing. And I think that's what Boudreaux and the Canucks are trying to pull into next year. Do I think that he's going to get re-signed? Absolutely. 100%. But I don't think there's any pressure to have to do it right now or even say that you're going to do it right now because it doesn't mean anything.
It's the wrong conversation to be having too. Right now,
it is. Totally. Let the guys play the games, win the games, and let's either, which is such a, let's use the Canuck term of thinking, such a Canuck way of doing things is we're going to wait till the last game possible, and then we're going to go down in the draft order. I think Tankathon right now, we're number 15.
I'm not doing that this year. No. I'm not committing to that. It's not worth it.
It's such the Canuck way of doing things.
Yeah.
It's like, are we going to win to get into the playoffs? Oh, yeah, we can make the playoffs. The hype gets going. But when stats come down to it, we don't get in. It's like,
and I think the nice thing this year is that we've bought
Tell me I'm wrong, Teddy. Like, geez.
You're right.
No, you're not wrong. And even the Tankathon part of it too, right? Like people saying like, oh, like we shouldn't even be bothering. There's very few of these people left now, but we shouldn't even be bothering for the last month of the regular season and just be. It's so separated right now because the cream really has risen to the top. The people who are fighting to get in are really close. The people who aren't are way out,
way below.
What's it going to make? It's going to make a difference of like 3 spots. If you're picking guys between 12 and 16, it's not going to be that big of a difference, and it's very likely that you can get the guy that you want anyways, right? So.
Right.
It's not so clear cut for me in that wheelhouse to have to even worry about a slot that different.
Speak of the East, what is it? What do the Lightning have? 100 points, and they're the last seed in. Like,
yeah, and they're playing like shit lately too, right?
Yep. I mean, I guess the East versus the West is a whole different comparison. But
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things. Thank God, at least Edmonton took off Dallas tonight. And Vegas is losing. Are they still losing? Anybody?
They are, and then Washington has a power play to start the third. So I mean,
Right.
it's one of those where I mean we named
It's
this
a
episode
numerical
Welcome-
number where they could get in, but they don't control their own destiny.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
out of their
scenario
hands.
mode
Yeah,
now.
just got to
Like,
do their part.
we're in scenario mode, right? Where we're looking like this and this and this, like on that Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where what's his name's got like all the he's got the big board with all the post-it notes and all the pins tied to strings and everything. Like we're hoping for that
It's like
perfect
beautiful mind
alignment.
business.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? At this point, because we're that close, there's only so many games left. There are realistic games that they could and should win. There are also some realistic games where they definitely could lose. But based on where those other teams are at, I mean, we've seen it. You know, when teams have basically clinched a spot, they, you're starting to see the, score adjusted gameplay kind of thing. And like garbage time we were chatting about a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And you start to see teams play like that. I know that not everybody's into that, and now you're maybe getting some guys' personal stats up there. We chatted about Austin Matthews kind of getting to 70. That's definitely not going to happen now. But that would be something that if the Leafs had clinched, and they were in a spot, then you'd want to say, okay, well, let's make sure we're going to give Matthews every opportunity to score 70 goals. Well,
tell me you guys aren't as big on the Maple Leafs as.
Oh, we're not. Just I'm also aware there's a guy going for an insane amount of goals this season, so I don't mind keeping tabs
I have
on
to go wash my mouth out.
I know, right? Like,
man, they're the best team in the NHL. They're the center of the universe, best team in the NHL. They've got a reversible jersey.
Florida is the best.
Florida is the best team in the NHL.
Yeah. And how about Huberdeau? He might win the Art Ross, which is Jonathan Huberdeau may and most likely will. I'm going to say it. I think he just might win the Art Ross, and how great would that be for Florida? That'd be fantastic.
You know what sucks going to the East is I think the Rangers have 106 points, but so does Carolina. But Carolina's second, and the Rangers are fourth. In the middle is Toronto with 108.
Yeah,
it's all depending on the different divisions, right?
Yeah. So now 4-5, and you've got Tampa, New York would be a first round matchup.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I mean,
I just want to see Boston and Toronto. Let's just see Boston and Toronto again, and let's just watch the absolute mayhem that ensues.
So for reference, Huberdeau has 111 points.
111, wow.
So cool. 30 goals, 81 assists. But I still feel like the driving force over there is obviously Alexander Barkov. But yeah, I mean, that's a heck of a team that they have assembled out there for sure.
Finally, right? Like how many years have you longed for? Since 96, I think, was their last Stanley Cup win.
Well, I haven't longed for it, but we'll say they have.
Did you see the arena fucking... Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, you get dropped the bombs.
Okay.
You're fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. Arizona.
Yeah.
Where they're moving in the Coyotes into, like a...
Arizona State.
I bought an entire section of season tickets because
I know, for $28.
Actually, they gave me a deal because I bought 2 sections. I get them for $26.
Yeah, you get a section of tickets and a free hot dog.
Exactly.
You don't even get a free hot dog. I think you get a box of those. What are they called? The frozen things you buy at Costco with the weenies and the buns.
Oh yeah. Actually, in every third game, I get to play on the 4th line, so it's pretty awesome.
There you go. Yeah. No,
it's quite a deal.
It's gonna be awesome. I mean, talk Canucks, talk Abbotsford. I mean, Abbotsford's got a phenomenal team going into the AHL, the Calder Cup. Like,
yeah, have you been to a few Canucks games, baby Canucks games? Yeah. How do you like the hockey?
Way better than I did when the Heat were in town.
Yeah, weird.
Slightly different fan base.
It is because there's not 14 people only in the building.
Yeah.
I just think that through. Let's go throw our Canuck farm team right in the middle of Calgary. That'll go over well.
No, they threw Calgary's in the middle of.
No, yeah, I was sort of like, if you're gonna do something like,
we were all the way in Syracuse, I think, or was it Utica at the point?
Well, they were.
Utica,
They went Chicago. They went as well.
Oh,
so they went. Yeah, they went Manitoba. So Chicago, Manitoba,
right?
Then Utica.
What a mess. Oh, well.
What a mess. And they figured that we're going to bring in an AHL team as the Heat here, which is Calgary or Stockton before it became Stockton.
Yeah.
Abbotsford. And it was
made no sense.
The only time that the building was sold out in Abbotsford was the time when
they're playing Utica.
Yeah,
Or Manitoba,
we're in
sorry, yeah.
Manitoba were in town, and
No kidding.
that was the best. And it's nice to see the rink that
Yeah.
full again here in the Fraser Valley. It sucks that a lot of you got the Rivermen down the road at the Langley LEC. You got the Chilliwack Chiefs at the Coliseum here in
Yeah.
Chilliwack. You have
Giants are down there too. Yeah.
Giants are in there playing. You
Yeah.
have a lot of people competing for, or a lot of teams competing for a small market, but they can all sustain each other, which is great.
Mhm.
And the Abbotsford Canucks are flourishing as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the big thing. If they were sucking out of the gate, if it was maybe a team that
Yeah.
didn't have what it had, then it's a sell because you've got the baby Canucks.
I think
At the
people
same
would
time, you do need you need something to sell on the ice too. You do need a bit of a winner, and I think
Right.
they've got enough of that.
People would go to Abbotsford anyway just to see the baby Canucks. If they can do that for $28 a ticket,
Exactly.
no, I'm in all day long. That's why I love BC Junior A Hockey League, or BC Junior A Hockey League, is because it is a $10 ticket.
So, Sean, we're gonna get you in. We're gonna get you into Dudes and Guys, and then we'll
let's
let
do
you
Dudes and
rock
Guys.
and roll.
Real
So
quick though, just real quick
Yeah.
before you run this through, and I know you've been
I had
to.
a button I wanted to push.
Did you get to see Jack Rathbone play at all?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you look? Can you tell us a little bit about what his game was like?
Tall, sometimes unsure of himself, but ready to make the moves when he felt he was needed to do that. He would jump in, make the play, but he would also have that defensive awareness to back up when he needed to be committed to his back end. But Rathbone, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on him. I don't know a lot about him. I've only just seen him in the few times that I've seen him. So
There you
All
go.
right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Honest truth. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't
I
want
like
any
it.
fluff here. We don't want any
Yeah.
fluff. Be
And
honest.
no, of course not. And I don't know, when he was in Utica, he wasn't even in Utica. When he came to Abbotsford, he was in Utica. Wasn't he in Utica?
They got one season in there, I think.
Yeah, one Utica season. Confident, but not confident, and I see that in this NHL game when he's playing the games, because he knows that he can make that positional play, but he is sometimes nervous of himself,
Right.
I guess, if you will.
Just get the
He's
reps,
right.
I guess.
Yeah, go in, go do it, get out. But he is on the bigger stage now, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of adjustment for certain players to get into.
Sure.
I don't know. I like Highmore. I don't know how long that's gonna last. Maybe a year and a half, 2 years. That's my prediction. Just
There you go.
yeah, not really confident in the Matthew Highmore. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. Honest,
There you
real
go.
talk from Glassy.
Yeah. Thanks, Glassy.
How about Spencer Martin though? Anybody?
Well,
That's
No?
found money right there. That's what that
Well,
is.
That is.
the fact that exactly. You don't have to pay a dime for him. That's I've got him. We've got a little bit of chat with him, but we'll wait on that. We're gonna get into Dudes and Guys here. Brought to you by Move Health and Wellness. I'll give a quick little shout out. As we've said, they're in Kelowna. They're also in the Lower Mainland, but we're talking about they do have their Surrey Central location. They've got South Surrey, and then obviously us in Kelowna here. They're in the Jack Nathan Medical Center inside the Walmart. Phenomenal parking.
Guy loves the parking part of it.
You know what? If you're going to be
Parking
excited
fan.
about something, if you walk in knowing you're going to get that spot, you're going to make it. Maybe you're running late and you get there right on time. They have registered massage therapy. They've got chiropractic available as well. And then also, like you said, they've got counseling. So maybe it's not your physical health you need help with. Maybe it's a little bit of extra mental health, and there's nothing wrong with that. They have online booking, which is super easy. It's a nice big screen with a calendar. It highlights when you click on it. It's for simple folks like myself. So by all means, get in there. It gives you all your different options of what type of service you'd like to book, and by time of whatever is needed. A little bit of everything. If you've been to a health clinic that offers these services, you better know what you're doing. I mean, you don't just go in blind. You got to kind of figure this out. But they are taking patients all the time, so check them out. As I said, in Kelowna, in Surrey, and South Surrey. So without further ado, let's get to Dudes and Guys. Eventually, we'll get back to a normal song with that. But
Wow.
Glassy, you're the guest, so I'm sure you know the drill. If you don't, so Dudes and Guys. Guys is basically we're gonna go over, like, we're talking about the Canucks, obviously. And guys are, it's somebody that's, they haven't really done much. They're just kind of like a guy. They're kind of meh. Maybe they've angered you over the past week, and there's a reason you go on a rag on them for whatever reason. Dudes, obviously, they're dude. Like they're getting something done. They're shining. Something's happening that you're thrilled with.
Right.
But we start off with guys because you start off with the bad and end with the good. So without further ado, Glassy, who is your guy of the week? Who's kind of disappointed you? Who's on your hit list?
I don't know who's still disappointing me is even hockey. Well, hockey, I guess. Who's disappointed me? Halak, because I wanted to send a tweet yesterday night because every goddamn post-game show would have railed on Halak had he lost the game, but he didn't even finish the game, so I had to delete the tweet. I was so excited that it would just be a calamity that he was pulled, but then I was like,
That's a tough one. That's a
It
tough one.
is. Sorry.
I love the reasoning too. That's good. Yeah.
Oh,
It's tough to delete those
fucked up your
drafts.
tweet
and you guys
process, yeah.
follow me too,
Big
right?
no-no,
Like
big no-no.
I so wanted to tweet, like, man, thank you for saving us of 3 hours of, oh my God, Halak lost the season for us, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it was Adam Gaudette. So there we go.
Yeah, that one, that stings a little bit.
That was a tough one. Anyways, sorry.
That stings a little bit. Ted, who do you got for your guy?
Oh man, I almost feel bad doing it because he's definitely an elder statesman on this roster right now. But I'm gonna go with old man Brad Richardson.
Oh boy.
I know that he came in, and the idea between Brad Richardson is obviously you're talking about a defensive center who wins draws. But I mean, I haven't even seen him taking that many big draws. I know he played a little bit towards the end of the game when there was some penalty trouble. He was on puck holes was in the box, but he hasn't done a whole lot. And I think that you're at the point where he's only playing like 8, 9 minutes a night. And I just think that part of this isn't his fault, but maybe, especially when you have a guy like Bo that's out of the lineup, maybe you could be utilizing a guy like Richardson a little bit more to take some more important draws, then get off like a la like old school Manny Malhotra. I'm not sure, but I haven't even seen enough of Richardson to even know what he's like on the draws anymore. I just feel like he gets the puck at one point and you're like, oh, that's right. I forgot that he was playing. And I think when you're in that mode, that maybe that you're just a guy, it's not like you're hurting anybody out there, but you're not really doing a whole lot either. So I'll take Brad Richardson for my guy this week.
Interesting stuff.
Okay, valid point. Yeah, no, you're right. He's not like Adam Gaudette. I felt last night, 4 minutes of ice time. Wow, you still play for them?
Yeah, well, hey, when it mattered, he buried us. So,
but Brad Richardson, that was a good point.
The Gaudette thing is definitely some hockey god bullshit right there. That's what that is.
You know,
all right, Ryan, you're up.
We've had enough. We've had enough of that. It's not like it hasn't happened before multiple times. So we get the odd one that goes our way. I know he's young and he's just kind of getting his cup of coffee so far. Statistically, I mean, nothing to really show for it so far on the Vancouver Canucks. But I don't know. I think William Lockwood has been good. I don't think he has been great. And again, that's not to say that it's all his fault. I mean, he's also been pushed into a position where he's been heavily relied upon. That being said, we've also seen a guy like Jack Rathbone come in, and he was heavily relied upon, and he definitely flourished a little bit more. Again, it's too bad that we have to. I don't feel like ragging on these guys, but at the same time, for the sake of this position, William Lockwood, he's been okay. It's nothing to write home about, and I'm happy that he's getting his chance right now. But I don't know. If they make the playoffs, I would definitely want to see who else maybe could bump into that spot. So that's my 2 cents. Say it, Ted. You got something to say.
He did have. So I do notice him skating out there at the very least. I mean, he's in there. He's laying the bodies hard on the forecheck. I haven't seen much him with the puck yet, but. The one thing that I did see that I liked from Lockwood is when he had the puck and he went into the corner and I can't remember what our defenseman went in to go lay a hit on him. And he gave the old body back first, right? He popped him with the shoulder and that guy went down. I thought that was great. So it's good to see that a guy already with this little time in the league is starting to assert himself physically. So I can't wait to see what happens when he really gets going. Because I agree. I don't think he's found his game fully yet.
Yeah, he did learn from getting popped himself a few games back. So
yeah,
I mean, you have to learn from that. You don't want to be taking those hits too many times.
Also, learning by trial by fire too, right? If you're throwing in the mix, it'll take you a couple of
an
games,
opportunity.
But either you're going to learn it or you're not going to learn it. There's two things about it, right?
Exactly.
No two ways about it.
Bang on there. Sean, hit us up with your dude of the week then.
My dude of the week? Are we talking Canucks or are we talking...
It's a Canucks podcast.
Whatever you like, but yeah, usually we do Canucks.
Maybe you got your ICBC check early. And
if you're really into Adam Goodette, you go ahead and take him.
This segment brought to you by ICBC.
Yeah, whatever you got. Whatever you got.
ICBC checks. I would actually... My dude of the week's... And it's such a cliche, but it's got to be Demko. I mean, he didn't want to start last night, and he came in the second period and rolled it when he didn't really want to. I'm sure he didn't. His body language said that he didn't. He needs a night off. We need to get a couple games in, and I know that was the easy answer. My second in defense probably would be Jack Eichel.
Okay. All right.
Classy.
Yes.
Out of way.
Well, even I don't know. I don't think Will Lockwood's there yet. I think he's in our year out, and I'm still thinking about that. I guess and
that's okay. I mean,
the
fact that he's getting ice time already. I mean, that's a call up that how many guys a year ago probably didn't get realistically. I mean,
it is nice having the ship between Abbotsford and Vancouver right now because it's only now a 45-minute drive.
So it's nice to make a call up. Yep,
100%. Right,
and I like I like the Demko call out too. I mean, I think a couple of big games this past week, and you're right. I mean, it's tough to you see the little one square by there. It's tough, right? I mean, when you're not a scheduled start and you're rolling in there and you're coming off the bench and Halak's playing a good game right up until that point, right? So you're not even like, oh, my boy's getting shelled. I better start like mentally getting there. No, like it happens. You're in the game. You don't go through all your regular game day rituals. Obviously, Demko's a pro, but like that's not an easy thing to do.
Did you listen to Satya Shah last night on Sportsnet?
Oh, no.
Oh, you're giving verbatim of what he said.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a regular thing, right? But to have to deal with these under these circumstances, it's a tough thing, right? I mean, if you're a starter, it's one thing because you prepare the same way every game, right? But if you're a backup, you prepare to be a backup. You prepare to get starts, every 4 or 5 games. You prepare to come off the bench. That's the kind of mentality you have to have. But it's not a regular thing for a starter to do that. So. Definitely put in a tough spot. And I mean, he did what he could to keep us in the game. And that toe save that he made late in the game, bonkers good.
There's more
double. Who I feel sorry for is switching teams is Price in Montreal. Since he's come back, it's like,
oh, poor guy.
He's figuring it out again, though.
My team really sucks in front of me. Every fan's going embrace the tank, but it's like, oh man, you got an all-world goalie, and
he'll be okay.
I know he will be okay, but
I like all the players. Like they're happy to see him back. Like Ovi gave him the fist bump, right? He was just sort of happy to see him back out there, show some respect. So it's good to see him back. Yeah,
100%.
Ted, who's your dude?
My dude for this week is Brock Besser. I mean, I feel like he was the best player in both games, and he was the best player in last night's game by a mile, I thought. He's what has he got? He's got 5 points now in his last 2 games. He gets to the 20 goal mark again for the 4th time in his career. I know that he gets like unfairly shit on in this market from time to time.
Oh, hugely, man.
But I mean, he really is. He's just so solid. And when it's great to have guys like this on your roster where if Horvat's not there, you have Petey. If Petey's not playing, Miller's there. If Miller's not playing, Bo's there, right? So his game is just He's finding a shot again. I think he's skating really well, but I thought that he was like borderline dominant last night, but he was by far the best Canuck in my opinion.
Absolutely.
There was a tweet on, when was it? Monday night from JPat after Besser scored, and this is like one of my now favorite tweets. Last time Pettersson hit Besser, he missed 5 games. Not this time.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that too. I was
Like just
That's a
absolute
beauty.
gold. You stole my dude, and I'm mad.
Oh, sorry.
you guys got to get JPat on here. He's a good guy.
He's been on here. We
Has he
chatted
been
about
on here?
vacuuming. Yeah, we chatted about vacuuming right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was awesome. He's a good guy. It was a weird conversation, and we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I guess so.
He likes to vacuum.
Hey, man, who doesn't?
He-
Something
I
about
like
just
vacuuming
knowing
too.
things are clean. Knowing things are clean. So you got Brock Besser. Okay. Well, I guess, I mean, I wanted to bring this up, so I guess it's only fair that I move back to the dude section. I gave this guy a bump. Was it last week, I think? Connor Garland, I said he was my guy. I wanted to see actual statistics. He was doing a lot of the little things right. Well, he's still pirouetting like an absolute gold medalist in the Olympics. He's still got that cut on a dime like a Quinn Hughes. And he's bearing, he's making plays, he's keeping plays alive. I mean, how many times have we seen them hold the zone on something in deep, and that line consistently keeps the puck going? We just lost Glassy. He'll come back. And Connor Garland, he was on a 6-game point streak, just missed out on 7, but scoring goals, getting assists, like I said, being involved in the play.
He looks dangerous again.
He does, and confident. And I think that's the thing. Like, even guys, when you're not scoring, there's guys that look confident, but there is that spark, and you've seen it. I mean, even in normal work, you're having a good week when, maybe you're pulling in new clients and you're like, just things are going right. Maybe you get
It's
that
click,
free
click,
coffee
boom,
at
right?
Starbucks. Yeah, exactly. Great song, by the way, Saliva. But I mean, he's been nothing but spectacular in the last week and a half. And he clearly listens to one of the most popular podcasts in the Canucks Nation, definitely the number one Kelowna-based Canucks podcast. And I have to congratulate him, because you stole Brock Besser, but I had my ace in the hole, and quite frankly, he deserves it. So Connor Garland, well done. I'm impressed with everything that you've brought to the table. I don't want to see you leave, but at the same time, if you can bring a nice little ransom for us to help us eventually win a Stanley Cup, we appreciate all of your time here. I don't know if we're going to get Glassy back here or not.
Here's an interesting question. Would you be okay with a Connor Garland moving if it meant that we could exercise the ability to get rid of some bad salary?
Okay, so can you give me? I mean, yes. I don't think you even have to tell me players, but if you were coming up with something, who would be?
It's just all the usual suspects, right? Like
Raymond Ballard in a third.
Raymond Ballard in a third.
Second, I guess some people are asking for. Yeah, I think, as we've said this so many times, if there's an opportunity to offload, in this case, you're saying Connor Garland, and after just signing that contract after the trade, he has produced. He's had I wouldn't say a great season, but a pretty good season. And yeah, I think if
You're on the mute, Glassy.
He's
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
went through a power outage here at Surge. That's why you buy Surge protectors for your computer and all of your stereo equipment. Let that be a lesson to you.
Brought to you by A&B Sound.
100%.
A&B
Or Long
Sound, wow,
McQuaid
that's
in
a
my
throwback.
case.
Long and McQuaid, exactly. Yeah, I can speak to that for sure.
Connor Garland's a butt plug.
Those are useful, though.
He gets stuff done when it needs to be done. He gets in there. He's not afraid to go into the corner. He's not afraid to reach around in front of. Well, he's not afraid to do the things to get himself in front.
He goes to the
net,
dirty areas.
He works in the dirty areas. He gets his hands greasy.
The guy's just a jewel, I tell you.
Not afraid to go for the open. Moving on.
Yep, that's basically how I thought this was going to go, for sure.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
That's the guy.
Connor Garland, I didn't like it when he first came in. I love it where he is at now. I can't wait actually for next season. The season under Boudreau from the start to beginning from the beginning. I'm excited. No
Love
matter
it.
what happens, it's cool. We're gonna drop down to 16th in the draft lottery, but
Well, you know
You know.
what? We've done
but
okay.
with Garland, do you think trade Garland? Is that what you said?
Benning's
No,
still
no,
on
no,
the
no. There's just been
payroll.
there's just been all
Benning's
sorts
still
of
on the
like
payroll.
there's all this talk about like who's the odd man out, right? And there's like, Besser's name gets thrown around there, Garland's name gets thrown around. Like, is this the type of guy we want on our team long term? And I like Connor Garland's game, but he obviously has some value. So my thought process was, when are you okay with a Connor Garland movement? Obviously, if it's going to mean that you're going to get some nice players back and there's some good prospects coming in, maybe some picks. But the other caveat would be like, would you be okay if a Connor Garland left, if it meant that we were able to get rid of some, if he was included in a package that sent away some nasty salary?
Would you give away a Connor Garland or would you give away an Ekman Larson in trade?
Well, that's
No,
what I mean, right? Because
you have
Ekman
to-
Larson is the nasty salary, right? So
you almost have to do the trade again. You almost have to parlay that another
You would have
way.
to absorb a lot coming back.
right, if the piece is like, because lots of people are like, oh no, if you're gonna have us take that shit salary, you're gonna owe us some picks or you're gonna owe us a nice prospect. Instead of, okay, we'll take that shit salary, but you also have to give a Connor Garland. Would you be okay with that, right?
Yeah, but it depends on what you're giving away. I mean, frick, we gave
Those
what
two.
did we give? What did we give away to dumb Louis Erickson and Beagle and what's his noodle that nobody really cares about anymore?
Roussel.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know
Roussel.
what? But look what
But
they
we
got. They
we
took
gave a
little
lot
bit
of
up
stuff
there.
away to get them to take all those contracts on.
That was two general managers that didn't know what they were doing.
I know.
So we're on the.
Thank you, Benning. Thank you, Jim. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
It's all
Hashtag
good.
thank you, Jim.
It's all good. Glassy, we're rolling on the top of the hour here. We'll give you a quick 30 seconds to promote whatever you feel like. Maybe you bought a great burger or something. I don't know.
Tell us about you.
yeah.
Tell us about the pod. What do you guys got going on?
going on?
It's the shameless plug time.
Oh, shameless plug time. Go see my buddies Ryan and Teddy on their PP1 podcast.
Well, that's
Number 1 on the Dean Blundell Network, ahead of even Steve and them on the Ballhawks. No, they're great people, but it works in football season. These guys are your number ones to go to. You go see them, PP1. I'm Glassy on Tripping with Bonzi on the Dean Blundell Network. We're all a part of one big damn family here. Go see everybody. Go check everybody out because everybody's got their own unique, but we do crossovers. We're thankful and lucky to be a part of everybody's show. And while you're out there, go eat White Spot Big O Burger.
There you go.
There you go.
He's
Good man, Glassy.
Is that good?
Yeah. Through and through.
Thank you.
Love it.
Love you guys.
Thanks
Thanks,
for coming by,
thanks
man.
for having me. Thanks for having me.
Keep
We'll
listening.
have both of you guys on Tripping with Bonzi in the next week or two once we get closer to NHL playoff season because
We'll
I
figure out
know,
an airstream we can record from.
I know that you guys would shit on Bonzi for his Maple Leafs any day of the week.
Oh,
That's what I love because I
you can
need it.
sign me up every day of the week for that.
100%. So
Yeah.
thanks,
Right.
boys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Glassy.
it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good guy. Good guy. Well,
Fights through the power surge and everything.
I've told that story about a power surge when Vancouver won Game 7 against Chicago. I had my old plasma, and we had that going. Had the PVR, had a monster surge protector, and they scored. Burrow scores the goal. They hadn't quite hit. What happened? They hadn't quite hit handshakes yet, so they were going through. I would say maybe like 2 minutes after he scores the goal. Boom. Gone. Shot.
Your TV's toast?
TV, I thought for sure.
Right
I
through the
thought it
surge
was-
protector or what?
Oh, yeah. So I went and
Oh,
I
man.
plugged in everything individually. It took me like 10 minutes to figure this all out. TV worked. PlayStation worked. PVR worked. The surge protector itself took the load itself. So I went to Best Buy the next day. Hey. And got back in business. We were all the way to the Stanley Cup. So could that surge protector maybe have been a difference had it lasted, and maybe that was a difference in winning the Stanley Cup? I don't know. We'll never know.
It was an investment that paid off, though.
It was. Oh my goodness, it was so worth it.
I know we're gonna jet here, but I do feel like we should at least hear your McDonald's story before we
Okay.
cut this thing.
Absolutely, and that's all I wanted to get out. And
Oh, it's 3-3 in Vegas right now. We just got the update from Glassy.
oh, jeez, that's not good. And it's deep into the third. Okay, So I've had McDonald's a couple times in the last month.
Also
And
buy a surge protector.
Also, is that what it says? There you go. Thanks for having me. Perfect. I have you been to McDonald's in the last 2 months for anything like coffee?
Yeah, I went and got a coffee. Yeah.
So when you get up to the screen, right? The lady, you hear the, are you collecting points on the McDonald's app today? Right? Do you get that little thing that comes up? It's
No, I haven't.
Oh, really?
No.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, I
Are you
don't go there very often, but I feel like I remember that.
Okay, so anyway, you should. Anyway, this is what should happen. So anyway, the one out here, I'm there the other day grabbing, I think, a breakfast meal or something. Hi there. Are you collecting points on the McDonald's app today? No, I'm not. Thank you. Hi, man. What do you want to? Or hey, what can I order for? It's dude. Like I thought it was an actual lady. Because it's usually been a lady that has answered after that. It sounded like the same person, and out of nowhere, just freaked me right out.
Did they just switch mics, or did they?
No, it's just like an automated thing. And if you say yes, then I guess something happens. But all of a sudden it goes, "Hey, yeah, what can I get for you?"
It's like your guitar solo.
You're not a lady anymore. It's very weird. It's very, very weird stuff. So, yeah, so now I'm on guard. And then I went like a week later, and it was an actual person that went through the whole process. So I'm a little sketched out on this right now. So McDonald's, they got me thinking. So I'm a little worried. Basically, listen to our show, PP1 Podcast. Vote, or at least nominate us, because we're almost at the voting round for Best of Kelowna. Even if you don't live in Kelowna, do us a solid. We would do it for you. Go and nominate us, and then we'll obviously be fleecing you for your votes at some point. Make sure, listen to K96.3. Yeah, we've got some friends over there. I do a lot of podcasts, not very much. Make sure you check us out on Apple, not iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Obviously, we were Google Music. You can find us. I think even Amazon has a station now, but we're kind of a little. Basically, if you can get a podcast somewhere, if you happen to not listen to the big three, then by all means, we are likely on there. We're there, so make sure you check us out. We're on the Dean Blundell Network. Ted, any final words for yourself?
It's going to be a barn burner the next little bit here, so I'm really excited to see where this goes and how this plays out. But there's definitely not going to be a shortage of topics to talk about over the next 2 weeks here.
It's wild. We have, by the next time we meet, we are going to have 1, 2, 3. Depends on what we do. They've got 3 games, possibly 4, depending on how things shake out for the show. We could be looking at a potential clinched. It could be. So on behalf of my good buddy Ted, who's out on the west side, at home, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watching if you happen to. Gary, we missed your question, but we'll make sure. Maybe I'll do a